I think that Osu coaching is good. And to articulate exactly why, I think the easiest way is to go over some of the common arguments I see online against Osu coaching and try and refute them. And I might not go deep into exactly like what it means to be a coach or exactly what a coach should be doing in an Osu context, but I'll at least lay the groundwork. Also, it might feel like this video is like a year or two late, but better late than never. So oftentimes you'll see detractors say that Osu doesn't need coaching because it's such a simple game. You literally just have to click circles on the screen. How could you coach someone to do something so easy? What would a coach even do? Would they just send you higher star rating maps? Another argument is that coaching is usually just regurgitated improvement advice that you can already find online anyway. There's dozens of Reddit posts and YouTube videos telling you, oh, you can do this and this to improve, so why would you even need a coach? Or even oftentimes, some of the advice that they're going to give you will just boil down to play more. And finally, the argument that, everyone else who's played this game, they've learned it all on their own. So, why would you even need a coach? Would a coach even change anything at all? Now, maybe I simplified these arguments a little much, but I feel like this gets to the essence of what people are asking. So, to the first point, I think most people misunderstand what the role of a coach is in an Osu context. A coach isn't here to present to you how you play the game. This is a circle, you click on it. This is a slider, and you click and hold. In the same way that, in traditional sports, the role of a coach isn't to say, oh, this is a basketball. When you get it through the hoop, you get 2 points or 3. What a traditional sports coach will do is they will work with their players. They'll see what their flaws may be, in their play style or something like that. They might suggest different techniques for the player to use. They might talk to the player about what their goals are, what they want to achieve through the game. And they'll work with the player on their physical ability and their mindset. And I think it's the exact same in Osu. What an Osu coach should do is be able to pinpoint issues with your skill set, maybe with your play style or your peripherals or something, be able to suggest you advice or different ways that you could change it up. They should be able to talk to you about your goals. What do you want to do in Osu? Where do you want to go? Do you want to win a tournament? Do you want to become number 1 in the world? What exactly do you want to do? What motivates you? And of course, work through a player's mindset. Because sometimes you just don't have the right mindset to achieve something. You might have the skill level, but those mental barriers are strong. I mean, of course, coaches can suggest maps, right? Usually, thanks to their deep knowledge of the game, they should be able to find maps that match the player's needs, rather than just being like, oh, well, let's just give them a higher star rating map. No, it should be something where, oh, this is a type of pattern that they've struggled on. I know that. Let me try and get them to practice this map, expose them more to this. I mean, obviously, it's not just surface level when it comes to coaching. I think an often overlooked thing is that coaches already have existed in a competitive Osu context without us even knowing. Because oftentimes on tournament teams, captains or a designated member of the team is the person who's leading the strategy, is the person who's determining, what players should be in or out on this pick, or asking them and managing the players' expectations. They've effectively been player coaches up to this point, which is also a thing in real sports. It's just now that we're reaching beyond the tournament and competitive scene to bring coaching to a wider audience. To the next point. While you might hear a lot of the same improvement advice that, you would find on Reddit or on YouTube from a coach, they should obviously go beyond just saying that advice. Because when it's you and a coach, that is a one-on-one connection that you now have. And when you're talking to a coach one-on-one, the advice that they can give can now be personal and tailor-made specifically to you. Although the general improvement advice online is great, generally, I mean, that's exactly what play more is meant for. So many people have complained that the words play more are too vague. Play more of what? Play more of, But it's because it's not meant to be specific advice tailored to you. That's just general advice. Because one person making a YouTube video on how to improve can't know the hundreds of thousands of people that will watch their video and each of their skill sets and exactly how they're doing and what they're playing. But that's what a coach can do. There's also the idea that some people kind of just need to hear advice from a person. Maybe they're not as introspective with their own skill set or that sort of thing. And just hearing it from someone or being able to hear their faults that they might not have dwelled on in their mind before can be a huge benefit. I think another way to look at it also is that although many players have already made it quote unquote, without coaching could they have potentially reached higher highs with coaching? How far could certain players have gone if they also had someone, to back them up in that way? It might be a little bit to unwrap, but there's kind of a survivorship bias when it comes to all these top players. Because for each person who reached, a high level in Osu, there's probably a dozen or more people who felt like they couldn't reach that far and just decided to give up or quit the game entirely. And finally, if you think Osu coaching is useless, then you are probably not the type of person who needs Osu coaching. You're probably doing just fine on your own. Coaching, I think, also is a two-way street. And if you as the player aren't willing to commit to the advice, or you're just like, oh, well, what does this coach know? Or you're not willing to put in the work to really improve and work with this coach, then obviously it's just not going to work out. And same thing for the other side of the coin. I think even more importantly so, the coach has to be committed to coaching this player. If their attention is drawn elsewhere, they're not, committed enough to helping this specific player improve, then it's just not going to work out. Maybe this is a no true Scotsman fallacy, but I feel like a lot of people who might have had, lackluster coaching experiences, maybe their coach really just didn't understand exactly what an Osu coach is meant to be, or they just thought that they could be it without really understanding exactly, the mantle that they're taking on. That's also to say, in real sports, there's also notoriously, relationships between players and coaches that don't work out. Famously, there's some coaching relationships that do very well. It's not a clear-cut thing that, instantly, once I get a coach, it's just going to work. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bond that you have to forge with the person and put your trust in them that they are going to help you out. Now, ultimately, all this is why I think Osu coaching is useful. Because what's the worst case scenario? Maybe you come out of coaching and you're like, well, that wasn't effective. That didn't work. Maybe, you feel like your time is wasted. But how many other people might reach that same coach and feel like, wow, I've learned something about the game and about myself and my approach towards these things, and I feel like I've actually gained a lot out of it. Even if there's only a few people that have that latter response, that kind of makes it worth it. I don't know, that's just my thoughts. And also, Osu coaching is in its early stages still. It's all still kind of experimental, and we're still trying to figure out exactly how coaching works. So I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple of years, people will start to turn around and realize that, you know what? Maybe coaching is actually pretty useful. Did you seem convinced by my arguments? Leave a comment below if you did. Or if you didn't, I don't know, man, just comment on the video or something. Also, suggest me other things to talk about. I like doing these Osu discussion videos. I'm just really lazy. So I guess I'll see you next time.